Hello, 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 Wings of Wisdom listening audience and Virginia's virtual viewers. I have the funding queen here once again. She's no stranger to Wings of Wisdom, Miss Katrina Fitten. And the question is for you, listening audience, do you want to fund your dreams? And Miss Katrina Fitten, I want you to give Wings of Wisdom listening audience a backdrop of your bio, and we're going to dive deep on how you came from a crisis, a crossroad, to now coaching your clients. So take us back to 2008 when you were at a crisis and at a crossroad in your life.
Oh my goodness. Virginia, I am so super excited to be here once again. I'm telling you, 1 year later, we are back, and I'm so super excited about you having us to come back once again. So, thank you so much for having us. And man, to go back to the story, you guys. So, really back in 2008 is when I had this pivotal moment in my life where I was laid off and went through this financial struggle. And struggle teaches you a lot of things. And what it taught me that I needed to have multiple streams of income. And essentially, once I got that revelation, I was like, look, I need to have a little bit more than having a 9 to 5, right? I want my work to be optional. I mean, I want to be what they call job optional, meaning I can work if I want to, and I can make the decision to not work at the 9 to 5. And so what I did is I began to really educate myself around financial education and became a certified master financial coach and started my business, which is New Day for You Financial. And when I started that business, I really started to help those like me, which were struggling financially on their personal finances. And I began to do one on one coaching and helping them to get out of debt and helping them to raise their credit score and really put a business, a personal plan together for their finances. And when I did that, it was going okay. Everything was going good, right? But let me tell you what people don't often tell you in business is that, but what I began to experience, Virginia, and that was this. I had some months in my business where I was doing good, no problem with paying bills and expenses. But there were other months where there was a cash flow deficit, meaning that I was either waiting on invoices to be paid or either sales were little down. And so we had a minimum of cash flow coming in comparison to previous months. And if they call it the roller coaster, right? Some months good, some months bad, right? And I was like, you know what? I got to figure this thing out because on my personal side, I was doing good, but the business was kind of fluctuating. And so I said, I'm going to invest at the level in which I expect results. Let me say that again. I decided to invest at the level in which I expected results, and I hired and invested into my future and got me a coach. I'm a money coach. So, guess what, Virginia? I got me a money coach. And so I was telling them about this situation I was going through, and they was like, Katrina, what are you doing? Why are you using your personal money in your business? Because sometimes I would, during those deficit months, I was using my personal funds to be able to, obviously, what they say, rob Peter, pay Paul. I was taking my personal funds and paying some of my business expenses when I fell a little short, which if you guys who are in the tax world and accounting world, that's a no-no, right? What that is they call that corporate, you're piercing the corporate veil. And so I didn't want to do that anymore, didn't want to be guilty of that. And plus, look, You don't want to put your personal finances in your household at risk by taking money out of your household. And the other reason why you don't want to do it is because it also, if you make any charges on your personal credit card, it's going to impact your utilization score. So you're going to raise your utilization. That impacts your credit score, causes it to decrease. And the third thing that it does, you guys, is that it impacts your debt to income ratio, meaning that if you have any debt in your personal side in comparison to the income that you're bringing in, then that causes your debt to income to raise. And so we was like, we can't do this. And so what he was saying, he said, Katrina, you're missing something and you're overlooking something. And that is this. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. And that is, what I was missing was I was not leveraging something that the 1% of the 1% do. And that is this: 95% of business owners, they're not taking advantage of the opportunity of using other people's money or using, AKA, the bank's money. You want to leverage the bank's money. And so when he told me that, I was like, OMG, I've never heard of that. And so he began to explain to me, Virginia, that you could literally use not only grants, but you can use unsecured loans, you can use credit cards, you can use lines of credit, you can use, they have so many options out there: SBA loans, equipment loans. You can get loans by way of your collateral. I mean, there's a list of portfolio of vehicles that you can use to fund your business. And what you want to do, he said, you want to make sure that you get you funding so that when you have those deficits, you want to be able to use your business funding that you have to be able to help you during those months that you're down. And then you get the money back in and you pay it off. And I was like, what a revelation. And so that's how I began to help small businesses to fund their business. And that's what New Day for You Financial, that's what we do. We fund, help to fund people's dreams. So if you are out there, and I'm telling you, Virginia is one of our partners, and she's one of our sponsors. And so if you are in need of funds to be able to start your business, or you want to grow it and scale it to the next level to get, maybe perhaps you need to hire a VA or a team member, you want to do more marketing, more advertisement, you want to buy an asset, you want to really just rebrand your business, whatever the dream that you have for your business you want to start, you can get funded today. And that's what we do. And so that's how, Virginia, I came into this business, which has been so rewarding. And it is literally not like a job to me, because it just really gives me so much joy to be able to help people to not die with their dreams still left in them.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. Wings of Wisdom is built on biblical principles. And in Proverbs 18:16, it states, a man's gift makes room for him. And I know
Yes.
you are passionate and this is your gift. So how did you know that this was the gift? And you moved into your calling from that crossroad, that crisis, coaching clients, and you're operating truly in your gift now. And that's why it brings you so much joy. It's just really powerful.
Yeah, I just really knew, because I'm like this. I am not a gatekeeper, right? I like to each one teach one. You know how you've heard the story where you say, "Hey, I don't want to just give a man a fish. I want to teach them how to fish." Meaning that once I am a benefactor of something that really transitions and change the trajectory of my life, then I want to spread the word. I want to spill the tea. And so once I found out that that solved the problem in my life and caused me to live in what we call it cash flow abundance. When I found that out, I was like, oh my God, there are women, there are business owners, coaches, consultants, people out here who are thinking they have to use their own personal funds. They're thinking that they have to just struggle from month to month when you have funding that is available. I mean, for those who are eligible, they have a 650 or above credit score. We can get them funding by way of 0% interest credit cards. Oh my God, for up to 18 months in some ways. And then you can also establish business credit in your business name where you don't even have to do a personal guarantee. I was like, oh my God, this is. And so as I became a benefactor and I did what I'm teaching, is I leveraged business credit, other people's money. I was like, I got to get the word out. And so that is what I've been doing, is getting the word out and supporting business owners to be able to get the funding that they need so that they can live out their dreams. So that's how it started. And how I'm passionate about it is because I was a benefactor of it, right? And so now it's like I got to spread the gospel, the good news.
Yes, it is good news. And I'm so grateful. I met you a year ago. So this is the anniversary month. And a year ago, I came into the program and I talked to your partner, your business partner.
Yes.
And, and then almost not quite a year later, initially it was no. But then once I was a recipient of your program,
See, you're a benefactor now. You ought to tell your testimony. You're a
I
benefactor
know.
now.
That's why I got you back here, because those individuals who's sitting on the fence, because initially you just have to work the program and people just don't know. They
Yeah.
just don't know. So just to get the information out there, I'm glad I have the platform so I'm able to do that. And I'm glad you're able to come back on this anniversary month and tell your story, because so many people are at a crossroad, they're at a crisis and they don't know what to do. So if somebody was actually going through what you went through, what's the first step that you would tell them to get them out of that financial crisis so that they too can move and still follow their dreams?
Yes, absolutely. And we really call it, we call it our framework. And it really starts first with the mind. It's you're changing your mindset. And sometimes we have been brought up in households and we have been told, a certain thing around money. We have certain limiting beliefs around money. Like even the Bible says, he said, let the poor say that I am rich. So it's like, even though you may be going through a temporary situation that may have you on what they say, waiting on the funds to come in situation, you don't want to speak that you're broke. You don't want to speak that you can't afford. You don't want to speak that, but you want to speak abundance. You want to speak, I have more than enough, exceedingly abundantly above what I could ask or think. God supplies all of my needs. You want to have the mindset. Do you know what? If it's available and then it's for me. So you want to make sure that the way you're thinking is that, look, I am a business that can get funding. And if you have that mindset, that's the first battle, right? Overcoming that mindset and believing that you can get it. And then number two, the next step is that you want to make sure you have a mission for your money, meaning that you want to not get money and you don't know what to do with it. And so we always want to qualify. So if you have a plan and you know exactly how much you want and what you want to utilize to do it, to execute that fund for, what we call deploying the funds. So it's like you have to have a mission on where you want that money to go. Okay, it's just like the talents. You've heard about the parable about the 5 talents or the 10 talents, where it's like, I gave you a talent, and when I come back, where will you be? Will you hide that 1 talent, Or will you multiply that 5 and make it another 5? Or you would get that 10 and I come back and now you have 10 talents. And when you do that and you're able to multiply what that funds that you're given, then guess what? More funds come to you. But the one that had the one that hid it and didn't do nothing with it, what's happened? They took that one and gave it to the one that had multiplied it, right? It's all
Exactly.
Bible. Now, I didn't want to go to church on the people, but I'm just saying, this is what it's all about. You want to get that funding, have a plan to deploy that fund so that you can multiply it, or what we call in our business, you want to get a cash on cash return, or a cash on loan, a cash on credit return, meaning the money that you use, you want to make sure that it multiplies and you're able to pay that off, not get in debt. Right? But pay that off as quick as possible so that you can what? Rinse and repeat. This is what about, so that's what you do. So if you have a mission for your money, and your mindset is you're ready, you're a responsible person and you're ready to be able to execute in your business, then now is the time to reach out to you want them to reach out to you, or they can reach out to us. What would be the next step you would want your listening audience to do, Virginia?
They could actually reach out to, well, I have it displayed here for you at Katrina at newdayforyoufinancial.com.
Yes.
Or if they wanted to reach out to me, wingsofwisdomlive.com. So
There
they
you
can
go.
reach out to wingsofwisdomlive.com or Katrina at newdayforyoufinancial.com. And we will actually get them funding with the funding queen, because I know you are the funding queen. So
Yes.
if you could just drop, like, one last golden nugget, or any other way that they could actually connect with you on any of the other social media sites, how can they do that?
Okay, yeah. So obviously, I can be found on IG, that's Instagram, at Money Coach Katrina Fitten. That's Money Coach Katrina Fitten. And obviously, over to my website, newdayforyoufinancial.com. And my thing is this: if you have a dream and you have a desire to be able to impact people, get the funding you need, because I believe that if you focus on impacting the people, your income, your revenue, and your dreams will come to pass.
Wow. Impact to income, right? That's what one of my
Yes.
coaches is doing. Impact to income. So, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, if you found value in this episode, now is the time to share on your electronic toys. And Miss Katrina Fitten, the funding coach, I am so grateful for you. You are helping me to fund my dreams after I was at a crossroad in 2020. And it has been almost 5 years. I've been pressing the pedal to the metal and connecting with coaches and changing the mindset, because it's all about mindset, strategy, and then execution. That money mindset and having a mission for your money. So we appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, girls and boys, share on your electronic toys. We're grateful you was able to lean on Wings of Wisdom today, and we'll see you on the next episode.